Hello. Good morning. Sorry, guys. Ooh. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, just before I came on, my nail polish did not want to let me be great, and I don't know if it's because I used a different base or what, but it just started splitting, and I knew that I was going to throw you guys over my shoulder. Good morning, Niche Walker. I knew I was going to throw you guys over my shoulder, so I tried to quickly just put another thing on top so while I'm doing our intro. Just so you know, my nails are drying. So I just want to pull you guys up on all of my devices so that I can see your comments. But good morning. Happy Saturday. How is everyone doing? Are you guys excited? Hi from London. Hi, Sandra. That is so exciting. It's so amazing that this can be international. Like, that, like, literally blows my mind. Okay, I think I have to email myself this link so that way I can make sure, just to make sure the comment section is working, if everyone can just type good morning, and Sandra kind of got it started. Just type good morning and where you're tuning in from, and good morning, where you're tuning in from, and an emoji that describes how you're feeling about jumping into this month's budget. That's so good. Okay. All right. I have that all up. Okay, so I am doing one where I'm talking straight to you, but when we get into the numbers, I'm going to throw you over my shoulder and we're going to watch it together. So, for those of you who are just joining, we are saying good morning to everyone, where we're from, and an emoji that describes how we're feeling about going into next month's budget. So it says, good morning, I finally caught you live. Let me thank you in advance. I've been binge watching. Oh, hi, Katrina. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, where are my comments? I want to see my comments on my laptop. Un momento, por favor. So I'm not seeing what I want to see, and I need to see it. Oh, I like it. The strong arm emoji, Sandra. Good morning, Pamela from New York. That's exciting. Hello. For those of you who don't know, I am born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. I had mentioned something about um, being in Chicago. It's my favorite city, but I'm not from here. But it's my all-time favorite city. I can't find. Let's see, live stream. What I'm looking for is on my laptop, my live stream, so that way, that way I can see you all's comments while you're sharing, and they don't go away, because when I watch them, when I look at them on my phone, they don't stay, and I'm not able to scroll back. So let's see. There we are. I'll go to the control room. Yes. Okay. Nope, that wasn't it. Oh wait. Is that it? South Carolina. Nisha's from South Carolina. Um, Give me just one more second to try to see if I can. Katrina is from New Orleans. Okay, so that's going to be our chat right there. Okay, perfect. So I'm super excited. Good morning again. Sorry I had a little technical difficulty. But for those of you who are just joining me, my name is Stacey Flowers, and I'm a student of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University and on a journey to become 100% debt free. My starting debt is $208,453.27. I am currently on baby step number one to save $500, and that is because my current income is under $20,000. I earn anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 a month working a part-time job. And so in this video, I am going to walk through my March 2018 budget live with real numbers for you and go through Dave Ramsey's 4 budget forms: his quick start budget, his monthly cash flow, his allocated spending, and his irregular income. If you are interested in these forms, I should have put this in the thing, but If you're interested in these forms, on my channel or on my website at www.staceyflowers.com. If you click on any of the budgeting videos there, in the description box, there is a link that will connect you. And when this is on the replay, the link will be at the very top of the box. And then you can just come back and watch. And so, so that's a little intro about me. I also want to put out a disclaimer that when I'm doing my budget lives, I'm really coming on more as a student than I am a teacher. I discovered a very long time ago that I learned best through talking and just expressing things out loud. But more recently, I've been told that while I learn through talking and saying things out loud, sometimes the tone that I carry is one of authority, and it gives people the impression that I already know what I'm talking about when I am yet trying to figure things out. And so in this video, as I am expressing things, I am expressing them because that's how I'm learning, but I'm also expressing them from a position of still figuring them out. This is a community. We are in this together, and I deeply appreciate you all for supporting me, because I don't believe that I would be this far had it not been for you all showing up in the way that you do. So I appreciate that, and just know that I come here as a student just like you all. What you're going to need for today's live, if you want to follow along, is you're going to need time. We are floating somewhere around 90 minutes to get through all 4 forms and for me to answer questions. I just want to let you know that up front. You'll need the forms. Again, a link will be in the description box, and it's also in all of the description boxes on any of my budget videos on YouTube. So if you just click that, once you put your email in, it automatically sends you the forms. And then you just need a little bit of patience. I've been talking to a couple of the people who have been doing their budgets, and they're sort of on this journey with me, and we're getting very frustrated, which is totally normal. Like, that's a total natural reaction to just focusing on your money. So I highly encourage you to just have a little bit more patience with yourself as we go through these forms. And then before I throw you guys over my shoulder, I do want to talk about my intentions for the month of March, because that is shaping my budget. And while I'm talking about my intentions, I kind of want you guys to think through your intentions. And I say intentions rather than goals, because your goal is like the target, right? And we know that my goal is to become 100% debt free. And a few months back, I would set goals, and I would be like, okay, my goal is to do my emergency fund. My goal is to do this. My goal is to do that. And I wasn't ever hitting that target. And so I was just like, okay, I need to ease back and lighten up and get some perspective. And I really need to concentrate more on aiming. And so when I think of an intention, I think about aiming at a target, right? Because it's like, it's fine and dandy that you know what you want to hit, but if your aim is off, you can know what you want to hit all day. And until you straighten up and get in alignment with aiming at something properly and aiming at something with, I'm doing this because I'm thinking of a bow and arrow, but aiming at something properly and aiming with the right tools, you can know your target all day, but you're not going to hit it. So change things up just a little bit. Instead of trying to create brand new goals every month, I really want to sharpen my aim every month. And so February's aim, just for some context for this aim, February's aim was to get out of the red. And by red, I meant that I was constantly over budget, and I didn't realize it because I was misinterpreting some of my expenses, and I wasn't calculating things right. And based on today, that's not an Apple Watch. I don't know what today's date is, but we're in the 20s of February. So we're like maybe 4 or 5 days before the end of the month, and I am doing really well. According to my current calculations, I am no longer in the red. But again, you guys will see that in greater detail when I do the budget report card. But that was my intention. So like, I aimed at, no longer being in the red, thus making it easier to hit my target. Okay, the 24th, thanks guys. Thus making it easier to hit my target of becoming 100% debt free. So we have 4 days left in the month, and I'm not over budget, and that is amazing, and that is wonderful. So my intentions for the month of March are to simplify my language. One of the things that I learned in doing my budget live and getting feedback from the community is that, and I learned this, or one of the things that so I learned this, and I'm now doing the work to overcome it. So if you look at my video from October where I'm talking about my money story and I'm talking about my debt story and I talk about my first money experiences and, you know, sort of what that taught me, one of the things that I knew is that I not love, but I like to like lie and be secret about money and like squirrel money away and like, and not tell the exact truth about money. And and me being aware of that, I thought it was just related to the dollars and cents. Good morning, Dema from Texas. I just thought it was related to the dollars and cents that I was bringing in terms of me hiding. So like, let's just say I got a check for $1,000, or not a check. Let's just say somebody gave me $1,000. Instead of calculating that, I would just be like, oh, well, you know, it didn't come in a check. We don't need to talk about it, right? So I thought that the secret behavior was just about taking cash and not saying that, hey, this is money that came in, or getting a lump sum of money and then just telling people it was less. I thought it was more so about that. And so this whole entire process, I've been 100% transparent and I haven't done any of that. And I was super proud of myself. But in the February budget video, I had did my budget. And while I was doing the budget, Survivor Fan 32, you know, who he's a he, who, you know, is on me, like, and I appreciate it and I love it so much. He was sort of breaking down some of the errors that I was making in that budget, and I was typing back my responses to him. And as I was typing back, and one of the things that he said, he was just like, you know, you're so complicated with your language, and it's just like you know, you're just really complicating things. It's not that complicated. And so as I'm like typing back my response, not in an angry way, but just like, you know, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I apologize, and blah, blah, blah. I'm typing back my response. And as I'm typing back my response, I was like, you know, I think I just do that because I really don't want to have to take care of my family. So I'm typing that, but it's coming out sort of very unconsciously. And then I'm like, wait a minute, am I complicating my language because I'm want to still hide my finances? Like, and it was like this sudden aha where I was like, oh my gosh, there are some things that I'm doing as much transparency and as much, you know, monthly as I'm coming on here. I am still digging through this idea of like hiding money. And a really great example to explain to you guys, if you go back and you watch the budget video about how I'm complicating my language and how I'm, you know, complicating the process, and that's just another form of hiding. And that hiding is really about the emotional wound of, I don't want to take care of my family, which means I just need to make it super complicated so they don't understand it. But ultimately, in me trying to make sure they don't understand it, I've kind of tricked myself too. But here's an example, like if I'm doing something on the budget, I'll have something on there and then I'll be like, oh, I made an error. And then I'll be like, the complications of this dynamic error that produces the poverty mindset that created the opportunity. And I'll go into this big, long spiel about the error just so that I can move like $9. That's an example of how I'm complicating my language. And so when I say my intention for March is to simplify my language, I just want to simplify my language around what I'm doing, where I'm putting money, because I now am aware that all that extra rhetoric, all that extra complication is just another way for me to hide the money. And it's another way for me to sit in the emotion of like fear of like, you know, oh my gosh, I don't want my family to take my money from me, kind of a thing. So that's one of my intentions. Another one of my intentions is to complete my financial goal number one. If you watched my 2018 financial goal videos, my number one financial goal was to restore my financial dignity. And so in this month's budget, I want to be able to complete that. And then my other intention for this month is to start my emergency fund. So 3 intentions, and you will see the way that I am spending my money to support those particular intentions. So without further ado, I'm going to throw you guys over my shoulder. While I'm doing that, I would love for you guys to, in the comment section, pop in some of the intentions that you have for March 2018. And I'm just covering you guys up so I can switch things around. But I'm still here, so go ahead, and if anyone can think of any intention that they have for the month of March, just so we can talk about it, just so I can see like what are you guys trying to focus on for the month of March. And if you don't have any intentions, that's fine too. I just want to give you guys a chance to be able to share, your intentions. So I'm hoping that that is set up and you guys can see. you guys can see what I have there. Yay, that worked. All right. So you guys can still see, and you can see my forms. All right, let's see. So Nisha said, finally save $1,000. Yeah, I hear that. Listen, that's way, it seems like that would be like the easiest thing to do, but it's very hard. I've been doing this for 5 months and I have not saved my emergency fund yet, so I get it. Katrina said, intention to pay off 2 credit cards and cancel both this time, in quotations. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. So can you guys see my forms okay? And you can just type a 1 just so I can make sure that this is clear, because if not, I can bring the camera a little bit closer. And can you guys hear me okay? I think that that's important too, because I definitely have my, I think I'm gonna move this over here. Closer, please, okay. I definitely have this rigged just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna bring you guys a little closer. And, oh wait, that may be too close. Okay, is that better? Is that better? Can you guys see the numbers? And I can see what you guys see, but mine is a little blurry because I'm using all the technology in my house right now. But I'll move things around so that way you can see the numbers a little closer. Okay, so Naturally Cree said, I just bought a 2012 Mazda 3, was gonna put 6K down, ended up putting 3 down to finance the rest. I will be putting a 6K payment down for our first month's payment, and the car will be paid off. Whoop, whoop, in 2 months. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Naturally Cree, that is amazing. Naturally Cree said, so the goal is to add more money to pay the remaining two off faster. I'm assuming that's, I don't know what that, it says $2, but I'm assuming that was a little bit more. Can you guys type a 1 if you can hear me okay? 2K, okay, perfect. So can you guys hear me okay? All right, thanks for the 1s. All right, so without further ado, let us dive into the numbers. So we're starting with the quick start budget. Or excuse me, no, we're not. Pardon me, guys. We are starting with my income, because I can't do the quick start budget until I show you guys my income, which is kind of unique for the month of March. All right, so trying to make sure that you guys can see that. Okay, so if you notice in maybe the last 2 or 3 videos that I recorded, instead of me saying that my income was between $800 and $1,000, I'm now saying now my income is between $1,000 and $1,200, because I went to my part-time job and specifically asked them for a set amount of hours to ensure that I would minimally make $1,000 a month. And so this March budget is going to be based off of that increase, which it wasn't a significant amount of time. I'm still part-time, but minimum, my take home will be $1,000 now instead of the $800. And so you'll see that reflected in my income. So I anticipate getting a check on March 2nd, 2018 for $560. I then anticipate getting a second check on March 16th, 2018 for $440. And so typically my budget would stop here and it would be $1,000, but this month, the way the pay cycle is set up for a biweekly paycheck, I will get another paycheck on March 30th, 2018, and that check will be for $560, bringing my total to $1,560. So if you are doing the budget with me now, I highly encourage you to, on a separate piece of paper, just like I did, write income, write the dates that you anticipate getting a paycheck, and write the amounts that you are expecting to earn. This was very helpful for me because It wasn't until I sat down and wrote the dates that I was actually going to get paid that I realized that there were 3 checks in the month of March instead of the typical 2. And that significantly changes how I'm expecting to do my budget. So is there anyone else who's following along who's going to get 3 checks this month? You can just throw your hands up or throw a comment up in there. I love how you guys are supporting. She's getting 3 checks. Dama, you're getting 5. Okay, so you get paid weekly. So yes, so definitely on a separate piece of paper, write those down. Mocha Jen 5 said, I wish. Write those down because it does alter your budget. Katrina said 5. So you guys get paid weekly. It does alter your budget to go from thinking that you're going to have 2 pay periods to realizing that you're actually going to have 3 pay periods. But I'm counting my 330 check as an April check. Okay, so Niche, I was gonna do that too because that's what I'm used to doing. I'm used to counting. I'm used to doing that. If it's close to the other month, I'm used to counting that. But when we do that, we are not actually doing a monthly zero-based budget, and we are, even though it feels like we're getting ahead, or okay, I can only talk to me. I felt like doing that would be like, oh, I'm getting ahead because this 560 is really April's check. But if you look at the month of April on a bi-weekly pay schedule, you're still going to get 2 checks out of that month. And then in the following month, you're going to get 2, you're going to get 2. And so the idea in creating a zero-based budget is to take all the money that comes in that month and allocate it for that month. Now, some of the things that we pay for may be things that you cover in the month of April, but the idea is to allocate things for this, for the month that you earn the money. That's when you allocate it. Now, I'll tell you from my own personal experience, the reason why I always calculated it in the month, the next month, especially when the date was this close, is because I always was it was because, and see, I'm trying to simplify my language. It was because I was never current on my rent. And so this 330.18 check would be something that I would be like, oh, well, it's so close to the 1st that I need to use this check to pay my rent. But again, it's because I was never current. Now, there's nothing wrong with using this check to pay your rent. But the idea is that feeling of the money that I earn, that I can't, that the money that I earn in the month that I earn it, and that is dated in the month, I'm not going to spend it because I've already spent it for the next month. Do you see how that's a little bit of that whole credit debt cycle, that whole, like, it's not really a zero-based budget. It's not ever really getting in front of your numbers, because what's going to happen in April is you're going to get 2 checks in April, but you're just going to get your first check on the 13th through the 16th or something like that. And then you'll get your next check towards the 26th through the 30th. But the idea, if you really want to do a proper zero-based budget and you really want to get out of the red, as Survivor Friend 32 keeps helping me, or is really teaching me how to do, you have to take all the money that you actually earn for the month, and when you're budgeting your expenses out, budget against the money that you earn in that month. Okay, so Niche says, I got it. That makes sense. Okay, perfect. I'm happy that makes sense. All right, so we have our income. Now let's go to our quick start budget. Or do you guys need if you need a little bit more time to write your income down, just because I know that a lot of people were either experiencing it the way that Niche and I were experiencing it, or just don't have those numbers, just let me know in the comments if you need a little bit more time. But I highly encourage you to get your actual numbers. Okay, so we look like we're good to go. So on the quick start budget, based on my income of $1,560, my tithe is going to be $150. That's going to be my tithe. So I just write that in the tithe amount. For my emergency fund, this is something that I certainly want to start. But I don't know. There are other expenses that are coming out in March. So rather than putting an amount here, I want to wait till I get through some of the other numbers to see what I can allot for my emergency fund. So then I have my rent, and I'm just going to put plus utilities. Because my rent and my utilities are combined, and that's something, yeah, naturally increases. The quick start budget helps see everything. I love them. Yeah, I love them too. I'm just going to put rent and utilities because I just want to remind myself that those expenses are combined, and that total is $525. I'm going to write that in. And then for my other utilities that are not included in this amount, it is my phone bill, and my phone bill is $35.82. Then I'm going to come up to my grocery budget, and as you guys know, I have been working on trying to eat on $1 a day. I have been unsuccessful for 3 months. I typically go over. Things were kind of sticking around between, like, I don't even want to make up the numbers that they were sticking around, but I was always over budget every month. So I'm going to release myself from that goal, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of a boost in my grocery budget. And so I'm going to budget for the month of March for groceries, $50. My clothing, again, I'm going to come back to this section just because I want to get in some of my other fixed expenses before I calculate that number. So I'm going to come back to that. My transportation is my CTA pass, which allows me to ride the bus and the train in the city of Chicago. That is $100 a month. I'm just going to put that in my transportation costs. And something that's new under my personal that you guys have not seen for the past 5 months is health insurance. I am initiating my health insurance for the month of March, and the setup and first premium payment, etc., is $227.31. And so those are on there. So before we move on to the next form, something that I want to add to my quick start budget that I was not doing properly in the previous months is I want to add the fixed expenses that come out every month, but that I just don't add in until I'm doing my cash flow or my allocated spending. And I want to add them to my quick start budget because the way that I'm doing my budget, they are a part of my fixed expenses. And so I'm just going to add that category down here where it says other. I'm going to add my child support, which is $75 a month that I send. And again, you know my mantra with child support, like my son will be 16 in July. I know that $75 is a drop in a bucket for all that his father is doing for him, but it doesn't matter. Send something. Something is always, always, always better than nothing. And so that's going to be there. Something else that I am committed to paying a month is my son's commission. And commission is really allowance, but Dave Ramsey calls it a commission because He talks about how you don't want to teach your children that they just get an allowance. You want them to teach that money comes from work, and so they get a commission. So he gets his commission, and then I also pay for his iTunes subscription. And this iTunes subscription was something that I was leaving off of my budget, as well as the commission that I was leaving off of my budget every month, but I was also sending it. And I no longer want to do that anymore. So I'm going to acknowledge it, and I'm going to place it right here. And so my son gets $50 a month commission. He gets $25 every 2 weeks, and he gets 50. I'm not gonna say every 2 weeks, because then he would get a third paycheck like me, and that's not true. He gets $50 a month, and then his iTunes subscription is $10.69. So that would bring his commission plus his iTunes to $60.69. Okay, so I'm gonna pause and let you guys write in some of your numbers, just in case you have something else that you need to put in there, and I'm gonna look at some of your comments. Can you do a grocery haul trip? See how you get a budget for 50 months. I love to learn tricks to cut my grocery budget down. I went from 600 a month down to 240 for two. Naturally, that's great. Okay, yes. So naturally, Cree said, can you do a grocery haul? I would love to see how. I would love to learn tricks to cut my budget down. I went from 600 a month to 240 for two. That's amazing. This is Katrina. This is awesome, for real, for real. Okay. I'm happy. I'm so happy that you are enjoying it. You guys have no idea how much this serves me. So I am just super, super grateful for you all. So what I'm gonna do now, while you guys are calculating your numbers, is I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to add up some of these numbers here to see what is left that I still need to budget for, okay? So, and when I say what is left that I still need to budget for, because this category is blank, this category is blank, etc. And I know this doesn't total $1,560. So 1,560 minus 50 minus. All right, so still left in my income to spend is $336.18. I still have other expenses that I am anticipating paying, and so I want to. Isabel, this will be posted. Yeah, it'll be posted immediately once we're done. It'll be posted. She said she missed the start, but it'll be posted immediately once we're done. So I still have $336.18 of income to allocate. But for the purposes of my quick start budget, what I'm going to focus on now is the amounts that I'm going to put here for my emergency fund and here for a little bit of clothing. One of my intentions was to start my emergency fund, and so I'm going to do just that. I'm going to start. In the past, I would have wanted to be like, all right, I'm going to put the whole $336 there, but I am learning that is not. It's not helpful. It's not helpful to have that sort of a wishful, ad hoc, I'm just going to throw everything this way. And it's just not helpful, because I wind up going over budget. I wind up spending in other categories. I wind up doing things that then I look back on it and I'm like sad about it. So it's not helpful to be unrealistic. There we go. So I want to be realistic. And so what I would like to allocate for my savings that would actually sit there as a proper savings and wouldn't be something that I dip into the following month unless there was a bona fide emergency. The amount that I would like to budget is $75. And then for my clothing budget, you guys know that I'm working on building a capsule wardrobe, and I am thrifting. And originally I was working on my winter wardrobe, but I was reminded as I was doing my research and building things that we are swiftly moving to spring. So actually it'll be a spring wardrobe will be the one that's revealed via video. But I want to continue to add money to that so that I can purchase clothing, because I do understand that having clothes to wear enables me to be able to continue to do my work, thus continue to earn, et cetera, et cetera. And so what I would like to allocate for clothing for myself is $15. So based on the numbers that are here, I am not at zero. And I just want to just be clear that, you know, I'm not at zero. And one of the things that I've learned is that my quick start budget, and I think I knew this, but again, I was complicating my language, so I'm just trying to simplify it. My quick start budget is not about getting to zero so much as it is about writing down my four-wall expenses and those monthly expenses that come out every single month that are semi-fixed. And when I say fixed, I just feel like because my clothing and my savings isn't always fixed, but like if you look at it, for the most part, every other category is a fixed expense. And so this is just about getting a quick glance at where you are relative to the expenses that are fixed, that are coming out on a month-to-month basis. So I'm going to just add this up one more time, just so that we can put our total down here, so that way we can know, moving from my quick start budget to my cash flow plan, what the differences are, but what also the totals are. And I'm also going to rewrite these numbers in my total boxes just so I can actually completely fill out this form. Good morning from Costa Rica. I can't even deal. So we have Costa Rica, we have London, we have New Orleans. Oh, I went to New Orleans last year. I loved it, by the way. Like, it's amazing. The food is amazing. The people are awesome. This is awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm literally rewriting the totals in these total boxes because I want to fill out the form completely, because I realized that was another aha that I had in terms of why things get complicated, is because I'm not finishing my forms, and things become even more complicated when I'm moving forward with incomplete things. And in another video, I will talk about in greater detail what I think that's about, what that aha has meant, how it's transformed the month of February and thus the month of March. But for right now, we're just going to get these all up. And I encourage you guys to calculate your numbers and add them up just as you see me adding mine up. All right. So this total here is 300 and, all right. So, and if you guys have any, good afternoon, Frugal Bujo. Good afternoon from the UK. Yay! Look at this whole international budgeting party. I'm so excited. This is so exciting. Like, I love how money can actually bring amazing people together. So awesome. And if you guys have any questions, definitely pop them in the comments because we will be moving on from this budget here shortly. All right, so my total is $1,313.82 that I have of my fixed monthly expenses that are coming out. And so just type a 1 if you're ready to go to our cash flow plan. If you're ready to go to our cash flow plan, just type a 1 and let me know, and then we'll move forward. If not, I will kind of peruse the comments. All right, Sandra, Mocha. All right, I see you guys. So we're ready to move forward. So I'm gonna set this to the side over here where I can see it because I'm still gonna need it. So now we're gonna move to our cash flow plan. And this is the sheet where we're really telling our money where to go, and we're getting into the details about what we're spending. So it was important that you wrote down the dates that you got paid and the amounts that you anticipated getting paid, because right here at the top of the budget form, it asks us monthly take-home pay. And so here is where you're gonna write in your amount. My amount is $1,560. So I'm just gonna write that in. And then you go in and fill in your budget form. So for my tithe, based on my quick start budget, I'm going to tithe $150. I'm not doing additional charity or offerings, so my total is $150. And again, if you're looking at the percentages, it should be anywhere from 10 to 15%. And I am within that 10 to 15% range, so I'm super excited that I'm doing well in that area. The amount that I budgeted for my emergency fund is $75. Not doing retirement, not doing a college fund, $75. So in this area is 10 to 15%. I am low, but that's all right because we know what we intended for this month. Rent plus utilities is $525. And just as an aside, if you are curious, this $525 that I'm paying in March is for my April rent. So $525, and I'm still over the percentage. So if we take the high amount percentage that you can have for utilities and rent, it's 45%. At $525, I'm still over. My rent is still higher than the percentage that I want to see here. So I'm definitely doing things to increase my income so that way this number can be within that 45% range, 35 to 45% range. We come down to my phone, which is $35.82. Then we go up to groceries, have $50 here for groceries. We're not going to do anything for restaurants. For clothing, we're going to do $15. And then no clothing for my son. We do have cleaning and laundry, which will be an expense that we come back to and fill in a moment. Coming down to my CTA pass, that's $100. Don't have any other expenses associated with transportation. Medication, doctor's bills, dentist, optometrist, vitamins. So that language definitely changed. Before I write anything in there, I just want to see if there's a place for insurance. Yeah, there's a place for insurance. So medical health, at this time, I do not believe that I have um, any costs here. I'm not going to cross it out just yet because I might have a cost, but I don't know yet, and I'm going to come back to it because I don't want to complicate things. So, turning it over, my health insurance premium and registration fee and all that jazz is coming out at $227.31. Have not restored life insurance, homeowners, auto, disability, identity, long-term care. So I'm going to put that at $227.31. I am not doing a budget for child care sitter. There will be a budget for toiletries. There will be a budget for cosmetics. There's no budget for education and tuition. None for books and supplies. Child support is $75. Commission is $50. iTunes, and if you notice, I had already switched this out. So last month, I want to say, I don't remember the date that Survivor Fan 32 saw the video, but he had mentioned, hey, you forgot this. And so I immediately pulled out my March forms and just wrote it in so I wouldn't forget it. And iTunes is $10.69. I don't have any organization dues, don't have any Christmas gifts. We have replacement furniture, pocket money for him. Don't have any of that. Pocket money for her. That's pocket money for myself. I'm going to leave that blank. Baby supplies, I don't have that. Pet supplies, I don't have that. Music and technology, I probably definitely could have put that down here, but I guess it makes sense in subscription because it comes out every month. So I'm going to take that. Then I'm going to leave miscellaneous and the two other categories blank for right now. I'm going to go over to entertainment, and I don't have an expense for entertainment. I don't have an expense for vacation. And then in my debt category, you see that I have my debt stopes. I had already pre-written in a couple of debts. So I have business debt number 1, business debt number 2, and PayPal. And even as I'm looking at this, and this is maybe just a mere 20 days later, business debt number 1 is not clear. Look at that, just hide it in plain sight. That's not clear. So I'm going to cross that out. And business debt number 2, that's also not clear. I'm going to give these debts names, which is embarrassing, but it's going to make me clear. And I'm not going to put them right there because those were other things. I'm going to put their actual name right here. And so City Girl Events is one of my debts. This was the conference planner that I hired, who I still have an open invoice for. I don't have a monthly minimum payment for her yet, but I'm going to put something here. I just don't know what it is. And then business debt number 2, I don't even know what that business debt number 2, I don't know what my number 2 debt is, which is amazing to me. How just try to use this loosey-goosey language to cover things up. And then my PayPal payment comes out automatically, and that's $15 a month. So this is where I'm at right now. I know already that this does not add up to the $1,560. So I'm just going to add it all up with the additional numbers in here to figure out what I have left over, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill in the rest of my numbers. But before I do that, I just want to double check to make sure everything that I have on my start budget, I actually transfer to my cash flow plan. So I just want to do that because I know that I have some blind spots when it comes to just transferring my numbers. Okay. All right. So I definitely transferred my numbers properly. Now I'm going to take a look to see if there are any. So the only dollar amount at this time that was added that was not included before is the $15. Oops. You guys can definitely see that. Sorry. The only dollar amount that was added that wasn't added before was the $15 PayPal payment. So with that amount, I have budgeted so far 1,328. So if so I still have $231.18 to budget. So now I want to talk about, and if you got my email this morning, I talked about how I was a little nervous going into this budget because I had some expenses that I wasn't, I have some expenses that I wasn't, that are new. And one of those new expenses is definitely my insurance payment, but there are a couple other new expenses. Something that I want to add here that comes out every single month, that needs to go on my personal is a business expense. But I was told that, I can't just generally say business expense. I need to call it what it is, for clarification. So this is podcast hosting. I'm adding right here. And that is $15 a month. So I want to make sure that I have that calculated. Because that comes out every month. And then for, I want to go back up. What did I have? Where is it? Oh, cosmetics and toiletries. I want to give myself a little something in these areas. I know that I'm out of like moisturizer and cleanser and soap and tissue and toilet tissue and stuff like that. I know that I'm out of these items. So let me see, how much do I want? And so this is where the numbers, they're flexible. But I want to put an amount here because what I was doing in the past was not putting an amount and then needing something in this category. And so I don't want to do that. And so let's see. The category that's more expensive is my cosmetics, because like moisturizer, lotion, and stuff like that, that's just pricier. So I am going to put, I'm going to put 50 here for my cosmetics and hair care. Obviously, you guys know I have a brush cut. But what many of you don't know is that I cut my own hair. That was one of the ways that I cut expenses. I'm probably going to do a video on ways that I've cut expenses, but I don't go get my hair cut anymore. And so that saves significantly. But, I do need lotions and deodorant and just stuff that I haven't purchased in a while. So I'm going to do 50 there. And then for my toiletries, I'm going to do 15, sort of bringing that hygiene budget to about $65. So that's what I'll put there. And the other major unexpected thing that, I'm nervous to talk about it because I'm excited, but I'm also like, it's not an 100% for sure thing. But I hope that we, make it a sure thing. But I want my son to come and visit me for spring break. And if he comes to visit me for spring break, his ticket to come would be $150. So in this other category, I'm going to put ticket. I'm going to put spring break ticket. And the reason why I say I'm like nervous or whatever is because I know that when I'm emotional, there's a black hole for my money. I don't think about it. I don't care. I'm going to spend whatever I want to spend. My budget goes out the window, and I haven't seen my son in like physically see him, like we FaceTime and talk every day, but I haven't physically been in my son's presence in several months, and so I know I'm going to be very emotional when he gets here. And I don't want that to turn into a black sinkhole of emotion where like expenses just and money just gets spent and things like that. And I really want to be able to stick to my budget. Um, so so the first step is just writing it down. So that would be $150 for his ticket. So I have that there. And then what I would like to do is create a minimum monthly payment for City Girl events, so that way I'm not waiting to save for my full emergency fund before I'm actually uh, taking care of this debt that is here. So the minimum monthly that I just would like to create is $25. So I'm going to put that there as well. Um, and then I think that is it for the expenses. Thank you. My level 10 life. Love your veggie videos. Thank you. I think that is it for my expenses. Now, the real work is to make sure that this comes out to zero. And I don't know yet if this comes out to zero. This is just what I would like to spend. I don't know. So we're going to take a look at it to see if this comes out to zero. So to complete that, I'm going to put $1,560 here for my take home pay, and then I'm going to add up my categories. So 150, 75, 525, groceries, I'm gonna put that at 50. Clothing, again, I'm not gonna total that clothing one out because that is a little bit flexible and I don't know if this equals zero yet, which is why you guys should use a pen. Is why you guys should use a pencil, because I may actually have to erase some things. I don't know yet. Hopefully I don't, but we'll see. It'll be, that's not $35. This here, I just wrote in $35 just like that was accurate, and it was not. So that is $40 total is what I'm paying towards debt. So this one I want to add up, but before I add that one up, okay guys, so let me know if you guys have any comments about the cash flow, how I sort of came up with my numbers. Let me know if you're stuck anywhere on your numbers. And right now, while you're doing that, I am adding up my totals to see if I get to zero. And I'm just adding up numbers right now while it's quiet. Okay, so according to my calculations, everything that I put on there is $1,583 which means I am 560, 2832. $23.82 over budget. I'm just going to add my numbers up one more time just to confirm that, and then I'm going to edit. Okay, yep, that was accurate. So I'm $23. So I am $23.82 over budget. And what I would have done in the past is just been like, oh, well, I'll just throw that on my irregular income for ascending and figure it out. But I'm not doing that because I really want a proper zero-based budget. So I am going to deduct $23.82 from a category. Those are, I'm paying my minimums on those debts because I want to start there. That is fixed. That's fixed. So I could take it from there. Nope, I'm not going to do that. So what I also probably would have done is taken it from my cosmetics and toiletries and just been like, I don't need it. But the truth is I would have needed, I would have gotten irritated, and then I would have, I would have gotten irritated, and I would have spent it anyway in the middle of the month. So I gotta shift that out. So it would be coming out of my savings budget. Tina Wallace says, good morning. If your son is coming to visit, don't forget to increase your food budget. You're right. Oh my gosh. You're right. Okay. This is why I love you guys. You see how that was going to happen? You see how I was going to be like, oh yeah, $50. And then my son was going to be hungry. And then we were going to swipe one time. And then it was going to turn into an emotional black hole. And I was going to spend all this money. Okay, you are right. So I need to, in addition to the $23.82, I need to also find some more money to feed my child. You are right. And he is going to be here for 4 or 5 days. And he eats like a whole entire man. All right. Okay. So first, let me get the 23.82 back, and I'm gonna actually take it from what I would have put in my emergency fund. And the reason I'm gonna take it from what I would have put in my emergency fund is because my intention with my emergency fund is to have a proper emergency fund that I'm not dipping into. So it doesn't make sense to put money in there and then take it out anyway. So we're just gonna, take it from here. And also, I see that I was planning on doing $75. Tina just brought to my attention the addition. I need to increase my food budget. So what I'm going to do, I am making the decision right now to not, based on the income that I have coming in from my part-time job, not allocate anything for my emergency fund. So I'm just going to cross that out, because if I'm being honest with myself, based on the fact that I'm already $23.82 over budget, and based on the fact that my son is coming, he is growing, and you guys are right, he needs to eat, I'm just going to dip into that, and I'm just going to take that money. So instead of doing that, I'm going to just be honest with myself. So, all right, so that's 75 minus, and I'm just going to take the 23.82, which was something that I was over. So I have $51.18 left, And I am going to take that $51.18 and add it to my grocery budget. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that over here. Added to my grocery budget. So that's an additional $50 in my grocery budget. Tina said maybe his dad won't mind you keeping the child support for March and you can make it up for the summer. We'll come back to that thought. But yeah, first let me finish this and then we'll come back to that thought. Okay, so that brings my grocery budget. And again, if you guys were using pencil, you wouldn't have these scratched out marks like I do, but I didn't use pencil. So that brings me to 50. Thank you guys for pointing that out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot. I'm almost gonna cry. Oh my God, I'm not about to cry. Okay, hold on. Oh. Well, you guys can't see me anyway, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, it's so hard. Like, it's just so hard. Like, I'm glad it's happening with this amount of income because I want to be clear when my income grows. But thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, this budget stuff just makes me a whole entire emotional wreck. And I think for me right now, if you're just wondering, like, what are the tears about? I think the tears are because it's just like, it's like you can be aware of something, but you still keep making the same mistake. And so, like, for example, like, I'm aware that I want my son to come. I'm aware that he eats food. I'm aware of all those things. But, you know, had I not been doing this live, I wouldn't have had this amazing person in the community be like, hey, remember, you're going to have to feed him. And you're not telling me to remember because, you know, I'm some horrible person who forgot. You're just telling me to remember because I have an emotional blind spot, or I have a financial blind spot when it comes to the things around my son that I definitely would have fed him when he got right. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that I was going to feed him. But the issue is that in me feeding him, because it's this financial blind spot, I would have busted my budget to do something that I can just plan to do properly. And Tina, I'm just really grateful that you pointed that out because I couldn't see it. Like, I told you guys, like, when I'm doing this with you, like, I am doing this with you right now. And these ahas, like, hit me like a ton of bricks. And it's just like, I know it's small, but it's a big freaking deal to be aware of something, but to catch it and to move forward and try to fix it. So, my grocery budget is going to be $101.18. So let's see. Katrina said, don't cry, little baby. You're going to be just fine. We're going to pray for that special increase. Andrea says, I get it totally and have made that exact same mistake when budgeting. Your honesty is why I follow you. It keeps me accountable too. Thanks, girl. Katrina said, good looking out, Tina. Yes, Tina, good looking out. Corey said, you got this, girl. You're doing all the work and I'm inspired by your transparency. Firebrands, girl. Also, you can find free things to do. Frugal Bujo, yeah, I made some financial mistakes today that I need to sort out, and it's so easy to beat yourself up. Yeah, that's right. Because somebody had mentioned, I think it was Katrina said, make sure that you budget for activities that you're going to do with him. Yes, and so most of the activities that we're going to do are free activities. Like, my son totally knows that I'm on a budget, and so his expectation is really just like, his love language is quality time too. And so his expectation is a lot of quality time and like watching Netflix movies and like popcorn and like vegging out. Like, that's his big thing, is like vegging out. And so we'll probably just make like, you know, ourselves really comfortable here in this living room and watch some movies over and over. And, you know, he's bringing his video game and stuff like that too. It's really more so about presence than it is about like us doing stuff together. As much as I would love to be able to do that, He's a bit of a homebody, and he's very aware of like where I am financially. So in his mind, he's not like spring break. Yeah, I'm about to live it up in Chicago. It's more like spring break. I'm about to go hang out with my mom and get some rest and some relaxation, and have all my meals prepared for me from scratch. You know. So yeah, but we will do free stuff. Like there's a play that we're gonna go to, and there's a bunch of free stuff that happens in the city. So I'm gonna find some things. Then Tina said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you upset. I was in your shoes years ago, and trust it feels like a nonstop train, like Dave Ramsey says. When things are tight, Murphy moves in. Yeah, absolutely." Firebrands girl, oh, you can do special flavored popcorn. I would have loved that as a child. Yes, that's what we do. Like I literally pop regular popcorn and then drizzle it with all different types of things and just make him a smorgasbord of delicious food. So back to the cash flow plan. Thank you again, Tina. Thank you so much. So I am being honest with myself about this emergency fund. It's not coming out of my expected monthly take home. I'm increasing my budget by $51.18, and that $23.82 that I was over previously should be reconciled. So now I'm about to go back through and add up to make sure that these expenses that I am budgeting to come out for March 2018, minus my take home pay equals zero. So let's see where we're at. That 525 plus 35. Yes. Okay. It equals zero. I'm so excited. Give me a minute. I have to open up my windows. Okay. So my cash flow plan equals zero, and I'm super excited. So if you are following along and you are doing your budget and you are done calculating, if your cash flow plan equals zero, I don't know, are most of you guys watching this on your phone or on a computer? If you're on your phone and you can give me an emoji about how excited you are that yours equals zero. If you're on a computer, just type yes. And I'm just going to go ahead and type yes because I'm so excited that it actually equals zero. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There we go. It actually equals zero. And I'm also really excited that it equals zero because of the things that I'm able to take care of. I am grateful that I am paying on this business debt. I'm grateful that, according to this budget, my son will be able to visit. I'm thinking about my podcast hosting. He'll get his allowance, the child support, all of those things that I want to do are there. But I am especially grateful for being able to start my insurance. And I mentioned at the top of the video that one of the things that I intended for this month is to reach my number one financial goal for 2018, which is to restore my financial dignity. And once my insurance is activated, that is where I will be, because that was the last thing. After rent, that was the last thing that I wanted. After taking care of my rent and personal hygiene items, that was the last thing that I wanted to know that I had covered was health insurance, so that I could continue therapy. And in the event that I needed to go to the doctor, like I could go. And so that's there. So I'm super excited about that. Phone, rent, transportation, a little bit of clothing, food. And that's still a very tight food budget, but we're going to make that work. Tithing, all those things are covered. So I am very, 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 very happy that it equals zero and I have so much of this stuff covered. So it looks like, I'm loving all these emojis. So you guys are ready to go. So that's good. Let us move to the allocated spending, which again, since we are at zero, should be fairly easy. And since at the top of the video, we wrote down our income and the pay period dates. So I am going to put my pay period dates. Where's the calendar? Where's my calendar? Give me just a moment. I'm going to go grab my calendar. I'll be right back. Actually, I have a calendar right here on my computer. I'm going to just use that one. All right. So my pay period dates are 2/18. Oops, 2/11. 2/11 to 2/24. 2/11 to 2/24, and that would be 560. Then from 2/25 to 3/10, that would be 440. And then and then 11 and 18. That's not right. Hold on. Because this is the paycheck that I'm going to get on the... I'm getting this. All right, Dave Ramsey, you're confusing me because I'm getting this on the... I just need to know when I'm getting that check, and I'm getting this one. Okay. All right, that's right. Okay. And 3/11, 3/24, and I'm getting that on 560. Okay, so what I wrote in were my pay periods. So the 11th through the 24th is the check that I'm getting on the 2nd, which is next Friday is the check that I'm getting on the 2nd. That should be 560. Then on the 16th, the 22nd, the 25th through the 10th is the check that I'm getting on the 16th. And then March 11th through the 24th is the check that I'm getting on the 30th. And that'll be 560. So let me take this staple out. So how are we allocating this money? All right, so I'm paying my tithe out of my... When is my son coming? He is actually coming... My son is coming the week of the 11th through the 16th. So he's coming in this pay period. So yeah, so I am going to... Where's my husband? All right, I'm going to write how these are allocated. One of the things that I love in terms of now this allocated spending, which doesn't make it as complicated, is that because typically the way I guess I used to budget is that, Tina said my 4 walls are covered. The way that I used to budget is like my first check of the month was my rent check and my second check of the month was my car note. That's sort of kind of like the extent of my budgeting. And it's kind of nice that like now that I'm current on my rent and I don't have a car note, that I actually can allocate these payments throughout the month without feeling that feeling of like, oh, I'm behind, oh, I'm behind. But let's see. I know for sure my phone bill comes out at the beginning, so that's $35.82. I know my CTA pass comes out at the beginning. And I'm just putting the ones that are on auto draft that I know come out at this time so that way, you know, it's just where it needs to be. I know that my health insurance is coming out at the beginning of the month, 22731. And I know that my podcast hosting comes out at the beginning of the month, and I'm gonna buy my son's ticket at the beginning of the month. And when does PayPal come out? I mentioned PayPal in my budget video, in my updated mid-month check-in, which means that PayPal comes out at the beginning, sort of towards the beginning too. So let's go ahead and write that in there. Because that is accurate, that really comes out during that time. All right, let's see. Everything else is negotiable. So when I pay that, so let me just see where those numbers are. So I can see. So you guys are doing your allocated spending as well. Let me know if you have any questions. Plus. All right, so that's 244. Okay, so what else do I want to allocate for this month or for this pay period? All right, I am going to allocate we'll do our $56 in tithes there. And then I am going to get my groceries. I'll do, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do like a full grocery haul. So I'll do the first part of my grocery haul, and then I'll do the second part when my son, wait, let me think that through. He comes between these dates. So yeah, no, I will do the whole grocery. I just will separate the time when I actually go, but I'll spend my whole grocery budget. This 101.18. All right, and then that's $80. Okay, what else do I want to spend out of that paycheck? What else? I'm gonna refresh my toiletries because this kiddo is gonna need some of those goodies. Minus. I need some lotion. And you know that comes out. What else? So let me just you guys don't know how bad sometimes I just want to round these numbers up. I'm not going to do it, but sometimes I just want to round them up and forget about the change. But the change is where they get you, gotcha. And by they, I just mean whatever limiting beliefs got you stuck. Over. Way over. We gotta redo that. Okay. Okay, I'm definitely over budget. I'm not gonna be able to. Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to take that out this month. How are you guys doing? Are you guys still working on the allocated spending? Are you all done? I don't know why I thought I was about to be out here in these Brooklyn streets doing the most, because that's not coming out either on this pay period. Okay. Oh yeah, so that's gonna, okay, so I'm not gonna be able to do my groceries like that. Okay, so this is what has to change, this number here. I don't know if anyone else has suggested this, but one thing I find helpful when figuring out my cash flow allocate is using a blank calendar to plot bill due dates versus pay dates. Felina, yes, that I would agree that this is a very complicated form. So I don't know if that helps anyone, but that's definitely a good suggestion, because it does get a bit confusing when you're trying to plot it against what comes out. See how many times I'm flipping this paper over and I'm only on my first one. But I'm not gonna rush, because we set the expectation that we were gonna be here for a minute. And so we are here. All right, so that leaves me $16.87 in my food budget. And that's fixed, 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 fixed. All right, so, all right. And insurance comes out at the beginning of the month, like that. Okay, so based on how my numbers are showing up, and what I'm actually planning to do in the month, which is the allocated spending sucks, but it helps because if my son is actually planning to visit between these two times, what I need to take care of is my my food. He needs food, and I need to take care of his transportation. But that, based on when I was expecting to have my insurance payment come out, I wouldn't have had enough money to do it. So I'm actually going to move the date that my insurance premium comes out, so that way, because what I wanted to do was just lie to y'all. Or not lie. Yes, that's what it is. That is a lie when you don't tell the truth. What I wanted to do was just act like I was going to do it on paper and then do something different in real life. But what I'm not going to do is spend all this time on here and not tell y'all the truth and lie to my face, to myself. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to restart my allocated spending because I need to move that in order to actually get this right. Okay. And I feel like I need to do this with a pencil just in case and the reason I used the pen on the other one is because I wanted to force myself to be more accurate. So, all right. Yep. And if I move my insurance payment to that time, that is fine. My insurance will be activated immediately. And my first appointment isn't until after that premium comes out. So that works just fine. Because what I know for sure is I have the money for it. But it's just, when am I going to pay it? Okay, so that's that. And I think that's why, too, I guess it's important to put these little pay periods in here, because otherwise you'd be confused as when the money is going to be there. Because it's not just about where you spend it, it's about when you spend it, too. I think that keeps people in debt. I guess that makes sense. That makes sense, yeah. All right, so this is automatic debit 3582. I know that. And now I'm gonna do my insurance premium out of my second pay period. And yeah, because I need to get toilet tissue and stuff, and just soap and things for him to have while he's here. If I'm being honest, I missed the first hour, so how much do you have left to save to complete your emergency fund? 500 still. I still have 500. DME Brown, I still have 500 left to complete my emergency fund. But now that you're on here, I didn't know that you were able to catch me live. I just want to acknowledge DM Brown. He or she, I'm not for sure if you're male or female, but you were very generous in sending me a gift of $100, which totally helped me in meeting my intention for the month of February in terms of me being current on my rent, because it was something that I was able to apply to my rent. And I'm so grateful to you for that. So it's still the full emergency fund. Okay, Donna. Okay. Hi, Donna. I still need to do my full emergency fund. And then actual grocery budget. No, okay. So, where am I at now? Hey, Stacey, good morning. So proud of you. You will always be here. Survivor Fan 32 is on, guys. Everybody say hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have been so supportive. I was telling my best friend, I was like, it's basically like having my own personal accountant, because of the level of detail that you examine my budget and you help me to grow stronger every month. I literally feel like this is the best community in all the land. Like when you pray for something and something even more amazing than you ever could have thought imaginable shows up, it's like, wow, I'm so grateful. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Minus 15, minus 50, 283. Okay, that's looking way better. And is there anybody in the who's doing it live that is finished with their allocated spending forms yet, or has any questions? Yes, so my insurance payment, I can move it. It's my first premium that's coming out, and it was actually set up to come out on the 2nd. But I mean, and so I can move it, yes, because I originally had it come out on the 2nd because I wanted it to be effective at the beginning of the month, so that I could just start going back to therapy. But when I talked to my therapist, she didn't have an appointment available until the 20th, so technically I don't need it to start on the 2nd. But also and I'm going to do a separate video about this, but my debit card was skimmed, and somebody stole my debit card or dummied my debit card number and was like charging up all these things. So that card was canceled anyway for the direct debit that was coming out. So I already was planning to make a call once my new debit card came in to reschedule the payment, because I don't know if I'm going to have my new debit card by the time that payment was going to come out anyway. So it was already a call that I was planning on making, but since I'm going to make that call, I'm going to make that call and then move the payment arrangement to the paycheck that comes out on the 16th. But that's a great question. Katrina said, I need these forms before 3/1/18. How many forms do you use monthly? I use 4 forms monthly. So if you just use the link that's below my video, then not this video because I'm on live right now, but any of my budget videos, it'll automatically send you all 4 forms. And I do think that they make a difference. Like, I know they're super complicated, but they make a difference. Okay, so the direct automatic charge, yes. So but the automatic charge was set up through, it wasn't set up through like my checking account number. So Survivor Fan 32 said direct debit does not have anything to do with your debit card. Direct debit means automatic charge to the bank account. Correct. So when I set up my initial payment, though, I set it up through my debit card, not my checking and routing number. So they're doing it through the card, but if that card number is no longer valid, it was going to be declined because they don't have my routing and my bank number, if that makes sense. So that's what I mean when I say I was already planning on making a call and I was just going to leave it as it was set up, but because I do know that I'm anticipating my son coming at the beginning of the month, I'm just going to shift the date. Does that make sense? All righty. Katrina, thanks so much. You're welcome so much. Yeah, this allocated spending is like so intense. Okay. So let's do, I want to do my proper tithes because I don't have a reason not to do that the time period that it comes out. Is everyone still doing their allocated spending? Got it. You have to make the call on Monday and then. Yes, exactly. You have to make the call on Monday to the insurance company to change the date of the charge. Usually, yes, that's accurate. And so that's exactly, I have it scheduled in my calendar for 9 a.m. on Monday. And I was, so when I call them on Monday, yes. So yes, I'm not going to complicate it. You are right. That is what I need to do on Monday. And that is what I'm going to do on Monday. So 504 is remaining. Then I minus 35.82. Minus 4, 6, 8, 18, and minus 15. Your calculator. Survivor Fan 32 says your calculator is massive. You really are an accountant. You know what's funny? It's because of you. When you pointed out in the other video that like I was entering in numbers wrong. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like I couldn't believe it. But I think, I'm so used to just punching things in on my phone that it didn't I couldn't catch the errors. And so I'm definitely wanting to see that and moving forward. So 2631. Okay. So then PayPal 15. And that is minus 15 equals 1131. Okay. And then my second pay period, 40 minus 44. Tina said, I'm so nervous with looking these days. I've set up a separate account for my payroll, direct deposit, and other bill paying, shopping, etc. Felina said, I do the same thing, Tina. It really helped me to ensure my bills are paid with no worries. So let me see. Tina, you said banking these days. I set up a separate account for my payroll, direct deposit, and for other bills, paying, shopping, etc. Yeah, I want to do that. But, since I have this issue with hiding money, that's not going to work for me because I'm just going to wind up putting it in a separate account and calling it a different name and hiding it and, doing all this extra stuff. So for right now, what I want to get to is just having two accounts, my personal checking and my business checking. Because multiple accounts would just really feed my bad habit of hiding money, and I don't want to do that. So 396. And then I'm going like I don't have anything from this category. I'm just gonna cross that out. So I have to keep looking at it. 396, and then I'm gonna do was 168. So I'm gonna do Survivor fan 32. I'm doing something on this sheet, and I just want once I'm done, I want you to help me out with it, if you could, while we're here on the call. But before I do that, I just want to do the rest of these calculations. And then it'll be 375. That's 73. What other expenses have I not taken care of? So I have my tithe. I have my rent. I have my phone bill. I have my groceries. Oh, clothing is to come out of that one. So 15 minus 15 equals 58. Whatever. I have my CTA and my clothing. I have my health insurance. Oh, really? How in the world? There is not enough for that by the stretch of anyone's imagination. That's only $73. But I know with this, let me see. 73 plus 18. 73 plus 8. It would be my and then that's City Girl events. It's 25. Oops, didn't go for this one. Okay, so my question, Survivor fan 32, is I don't know if you can see here at the bottom of my allocated spending. When I calculate my numbers for my first paycheck, there's $11.31 that I didn't allocate, and it's truly just because there's not an expense that's only $11.31. Would you recommend that I, for example, allocate that $11.31 as like partial out of this pay period and then partial out of the second pay period to make up for the amount that's supposed to come out? So like, for example, if I did my son's commission and I did $11.31, that would put this pay period at 0. And then out of the next pay period, I would still have. And the reason why I asked, because if I'm being honest, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to not spend the money and wait until I have a full $50 and send him $50. I'm not actually going to move this $11.31 out of my account. I'm not going to send him a payment for $11.31 and then send or a commission and then send him a commission for $38.69. I'm just going to leave it in my account. But would you recommend for tracking purposes, I allocate it here just to indicate it? And then allocate the other amount that's in there. So if you could take a look at that, that would help, because I just need to reconcile these ending numbers that I have, because they're not really reconciled. So let me go up and get some of these questions. I do the same thing, Tina. Yep, want some more of it. Exactly. Simplifying your banking simplifies your life. It really makes a huge difference in finances and budget. Tina, got it. At the end of the day, you have to do what works for you. Yeah. Survivor Fan 32, quick question. When was your last grocery visit purchase? Are you running low on groceries? Yes, I'm running low on groceries. And my last purchase, so let me pull up where my actual grocery budget is right now. I mean, I'm not terribly low, but I'm not like, I'm not comfortable, if that makes sense. I just have and I guess my comfort is like, I have a lot of bases. So I have a lot of my beans, I have a lot of my rices, I have a lot of my bases, but I just don't have the things that I normally put on top, which are like the fresh fruits and veggies and stuff like that I get. So right now, my original grocery budget was $35.11, but for so far in February, as of today, the 24th, I've actually spent $42.19 on groceries. So yeah, I'll definitely need to replenish. Definitely. Okay, Katrina, listening to you talk about lying about the whereabouts of your money, I need to stop borrowing from different accounts, basically using accounts as safety nets. This will be another March intention. Yeah, and I think for me, like, I know lying sounds like strong language, but I just got to use it, simplifying it and just telling myself the truth. But you're right, Katrina, because I was very much a person who would like, oh, I have it in this account, I'm going to move it and it's my money, so it doesn't matter. But like, it's just lying. It's just hiding. And it's just like, if it's your money, why don't you just put it in your account and spend it truthfully the way that you're going to do it? Katrina said, exactly. When you start using the monies from other accounts to pay off expenses, the end result is you truly haven't saved anything. Yep. Katrina, right now, and I'm not sticking to my actual budget, hold myself accountable. Yeah. So the way that I wasn't sticking to my actual budget was because, one, I just was forgetting about expenses. And then two, I wasn't doing a proper zero-based budget. And then three, my financial blind spot, my biggest one, is that emotional black hole that happens where I just flat out lie to myself about how much I spent, what I'm spending, where I'm spending, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, holding myself accountable. That's like March accountability is we need to come up with a hashtag, and just like every time we post a photo or we do anything on social media, we just hashtag accountable. Survivor Fan 32 said, regarding the 1131, first ensure you have properly accounted for all the expenses in your first pay period of March 18th. Okay. Thank you. Then you have to overflow of 1131 in your first pay period. I will use the 1131 into the next pay period towards the second pay period of March expenses. Hope that helps. Yes, that's perfect. So that's the word. It's the overflow. So I carry that overflow into the next allocated, so that way I'm not creating a little white lie on my allocated spending. Yes, thank you. That is exactly what I needed. So then do I say, so you see how I just put that 1131 in parentheses down here? Do I take that 1131 and actually add it up here and call it, you know, $451.32. Yes, you do. Okay. What? I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. All right. So let me recalculate my numbers first. And then I will make sure that I did that accounting correctly. So 560 minus 56 minus, that's 504 remaining. And if you guys, this is something that I wasn't doing in my other videos too. So you're supposed to take the amount of your income, right? And then the budgeted amount, and then subtract it, and then write the remaining right here. So that way you're actually tracking your total numbers that you're spending. So yeah, so 504 would be left over after that. Then once I pay my cell phone bill is 468.18. That is correct. Then I would pay my toiletries minus, that would be 435.18 minus 50, 403.18 minus 1069. That'd be $392.49 minus 15, which is $377.49 minus 150. It's $227.49 minus 101.18, $126.31 minus $100 equals $26.31 minus you know, when is my PayPal payment actually due? So I just am making the assumption that it's due at the beginning, but it may not be. Let's see. Okay, PayPal is actually not due until the 15th. So I'm not going to actually pay that right here. I'm going to pay City Girl Shar. And that'll be minus $25. So minus 25, which leaves me with an overflow of $1.31. Okay, so my numbers are right. So I'm going to take that $1.31 and bring it over to, yep, okay, so that's when that's due. And bring that over here, equals $441.31. Okay, so we have a couple of things. Yes, you do. Selena said, I haven't watched all your videos yet, but I love your spirit and transparency. Do you have it listed out all of your expenses and due dates? If so, when do you reference that during your budgeting? Yes, I do. I have not done that before this this particular budget video, and I was running into some issues. I was kind of just doing it from memory and doing it from when I wanted to pay it. But I was leaving out expenses when I was doing that. So I did make a list of those expenses. And for the expenses that were fixed, I did write down next to them, like my CTA pass comes out on the 3rd of every month. My cell phone bill comes out on the 6th of every month. I did write those down. And I reference those when I'm doing this form right now, the allocated spending, which is the reason why this one takes me so long, because I understand that I have to take some numbers out of some categories. I have to subtract some expenses from income in certain pay periods. So, all right, so now we're here. $441.31 minus 44 for tithes leaves me $397.31 minus, what else am I paying in, oh, my insurance. 150 equals 247.31. And then we don't have anything in that category coming out. Okay. And minus 247.31 minus 227.31. Oh my word, how much do I wish I could round? I wish I could round. That comes out to $20. And I am not paying my commissions out of that. I didn't give myself pocket money. That's fine. Okay, so I have $20 left over. $20 overflow. And I am going to pay PayPal from that. And that leaves me with $5. All right, and I will take this $5 and put this over here. All right. Now we are cooking with gas. Minus 56 equals 509 minus 375. 134 minus, I don't have anything from that category, minus $50, $75. Equals 59 minus 75. Oops. Dang it, I'm $1 short. I lost $1. I'm so upset. I mean, that's better than how much normally I'm off, but I lost $1. I don't know. I gotta go find. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't. Hold on. Let me redo my math. 560 minus 56 minus yeah, actually, I lost $6. I lost $6. Survivor Fan 32. I am $6 off somewhere in these calculations. And I think I know where it's at. It's right here. It's because I've added an extra $6. Yes! Look at there. I was able to find it. I accidentally added an extra $6 to my tithe. That wasn't supposed to be there, because I was doing it based off of that number and not based off of the original number that I put on my cash flow. That's where it is. Whoop, whoop. I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, guys, how many of you guys, if you're done with your allocated spending, pop a 1 in the comments. And I'm going to go over mine just after I fix this number here. I feel amazing. Oh, God, I feel amazing. So excited. My son is going to visit. I am so excited. That's amazing. I was able to find that so quickly. Equals 15 for my clothing budget. You better believe it. Boom. Okay. I'm done with my allocated spending. Okay, so we're gonna go over. Okay, so Katrina says she's done with hers, so I'm gonna go over my allocated spending, just as a frame of reference for you all who just are wanting to understand how to use the form and learn through my examples. So my first pay period is going to be from February 11th through February 24th. I will receive that paycheck on March 2nd. I'll receive that paycheck on March 2nd, and that will be $560. Out of that, I'm going to pay $56 towards tithe. Remaining, I'll have $504. My cell phone bill will come out of $35.82, and I will have a remaining balance of $468.18. After that, I will pay my $15 toiletry budget, which will leave $435.18. Then I will have my cosmetic budget, which sounds misleading, but that's like lotion and soap. It's really personal hygiene. I feel like cosmetics gives it a bad name, but that'll be $50, and that will, oh, that's not right. Dang it. I can see that that's not right because $435. Hold on, let me see. That number is not right there. I was so happy, guys. So stinking happy. And then I can count an error. Okay, so it's not $435. It's $453.18 is what's left over. So $453.18 after my toiletries come out. Then $453.18 minus $50 leaves me with $403.18. Then minus the iTunes subscription for my son, which is $10.69, leaves me with $392.49. Minus the podcast hosting for my business of $15 leaves a remaining balance of $377.49. Minus the $150 for my son's ticket, which leaves me with $227.49. Minus my $118 for groceries, which leaves me $126.31. Minus $100 for my CTA pass, which leaves me with $26.31. Minus $25 for a debt payment to City Girl Events, which leaves me with $1.31 out of my first pay period, or out of my first paycheck. This $1.31 will be carried over and be an overflow in my paycheck that I receive on March 16th. March 16th, which I will get paid for the pay period so the paycheck that I'm going to get on March 16th, and that total will come up to $441.31. Minus my tithes of $44 leaves a remaining balance of $397.31. Minus a partial payment for my rent for the month of April, which leaves me a a partial payment of $150, which leaves me a remaining balance of $247.31, which then I will use to pay my insurance premium and activation of $227.31, which leaves me a remaining balance of $20. And from that $20, I will pay my PayPal credit balance of minimum monthly payment of $15, which leaves me a remaining balance of $5. That $5 will carry over into my third paycheck for the month of March. I will receive that third paycheck on March 30th. And that paycheck will be in the amount of $560. Plus that carryover makes that balance my March 30th income of $565. Out of that, I will pay $50 towards my tithes, leaving me a remaining balance of that number wasn't written in there, so let me just make sure. I'm doing that right. Leaving me a remaining balance of $515 minus $375, which will be the other partial payment for my rent for April, which leaves me a remaining balance of $140. And you'll notice that I'm erasing numbers. The reason why is about 10-15 minutes ago, I was $6 under budget, and I just changed one number instead of changing them all. So that's why I'm changing these numbers as I go, which leaves me a remaining balance of $140. Out of the $140, I will subtract $75 for child support, leaves me a remaining balance of $65. From the $65, I will subtract $50 for my son's commission, which leaves me a remaining balance of $15. Out of that $15, I will subtract $15 for my clothing budget, which leaves me a remaining balance of, say it with me, $0. I'm so excited. All right, so my allocated spending is at zero. So does anybody have any questions before I move on to the fourth and final form? Any questions at all? Thank you, Katrina. Thank you so much. I could not have done it without you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. I learned so much better through talking out loud. Any questions from anyone? Anything? I know there's a little bit of a delay, but all right. So now we are on to the fourth and final form. And for the first time, I'm actually going to do this form correctly, I believe. And if you notice, my entire budget is a proper zero-based budget. Like, all of the money that I have coming in has been assigned. Every dollar has a name, and that is at zero. So my irregular income planning, this is where if I get any, thanks Tina, this is if I get any gifts from people who are just very generous, like Donna. She is someone in the community, a YouTube watcher. She just sent me a gift of $100. If I sell anything from my closet, because you guys know I just KonMari method and cleaned out my closet, and a few of you reached out to purchase items from there, that would be irregular income. The income that I get from Google AdSense through YouTube, that is also irregular income. I don't know how YouTube calculates that. I don't know, how to project what I'm getting. I think I'm going to wait for several months before I'm even doing any projecting, but that would be irregular income. Any gifts, any Google money, any sales that I do, and any other sort of like random hustle or thing that happens. So like something that will be available, I'm intending to have available in March are some of my programs and clarity calls. Like those are some of the things that I'm intending to have open. But again, I may not have those open. I may have those open, but that is irregular income. So now to do my irregular income, if I get any extra money, what am I going to do with it is what I'm going to put on here. Katrina says she's also planning on doing the KonMari method. I inspired her. I'm super happy. It's so well worth it. It's just been amazing. I feel like every time I walk into my closet, I feel like amazing. So if I get any additional money in the month of March, these are the things that I would like to pay for. I would like to start my emergency fund. So I'm going to put that as number 1. And you know, I would love to get $100 in there just to really actually get it started. After starting my emergency fund, if I get anything over the $100, I would like to have, I'm going to call it the true name, blow money during my son's visit. Just if there was just like an extra, like $50, just blow money, just so if he asks, I can say yes. I know that that's may not seem like a lot, but I would much rather just be able to say yes. So if I get a little bit extra, I'll allocate $50 in just blow money. What else? I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm behind on. No, okay. If I get anything more than that, I want to make an extra payment to City Girl Events for my invoice. I would love to be able to make an extra $50 payment towards that for her. If I get any other, and I'm going to close those windows as soon as I'm done. It's just my phone gets hot, so that's why I opened it. If I get any extra money after that, let's see. I've taken care of my rent. I have, I don't know, like, I don't even know what I would do if I got extra money after that. Okay, so I get any extra money after that, I would want to go back to my emergency fund because that was the other intention that I had for this month. And that's it. So if I were to get extra money, that would be 100, 150, 200, 600. So let's just say, for example, I got an extra $200 this month through selling stuff from my closet sale or a few people purchasing some clarity calls, and that equaled to $200 extra dollars. These 3 things would be the 3 things that I would take care of first, in addition to having my 4 walls covered and all of the other things that I outlined in my budget. If I was blessed and I got an extra $600 this month, I would take care of, inside of that, I would be able to fully fund my emergency fund, have $50 in blow money for me and my son, and be able to make an extra payment to City Girl Events on a business debt that I have. And that's it. That's all I'm going to plan for my irregular spending, is the possibility of having maybe an extra $600 that I cannot expect to earn through like regular income. And that's it. So I'm going to turn this camera around. If you guys have any questions, we will stay on the line for a minute, but that is it for my March 2018 budget. I did not check my face to see what these tears did or did not do. So I'm just covering up the camera so I can turn it around really quickly for you guys. We will chat and if you guys have any questions, we will get those questions answered. Let me just go double check my face, make sure I don't have. All right, guys. Okay, so we're back, and I have done a proper zero-based budget, and so I feel good. I feel good. It's intense, but I do feel good, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I don't know how to explain to you how I could not have come this far and been doing what I'm doing had it not been for you guys and this amazing community of like pushing back. And you guys saw that moment where I got all emotional because, you know, Tina reminded me that I needed to make sure that I feed my growing child. So I just want to thank you guys so much, because I truly learn best through talking. And you guys just showing up so that I can talk through this for 2 hours of your Saturday. Like, I don't know how. I'm just, thank you so much for that. So I want to answer some of the questions that came up. There was a question of, do you think you can maybe talk to your son's dad to ask him if you could just keep the child support for this month since your son is coming to visit? And I probably could, and he probably totally would let me. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to do that. And I may be complicating this, but I'm not going to do that because for me, child support isn't just about covering the child when you have them. It is about supporting the full-time parent who has to manage the financial burden, whether the child is there or not there. So for example, with my son coming to visit, it's not going to change the rent that my son's father has to pay. It's not going to change the electricity bill. It's not going to change any of the expenses that he actually has that are associated with caring for our son full time. So for me, just to maintain the measure of integrity that I would like to have with regard to supporting my son and co-parenting with his father, and then also to build up the muscle of actually reestablishing my financial responsibility for my son. I'd rather send the child support as it is, because it's not just about who has the child when the money goes, but also send it and then build up the strength to be able to, when my son is with me, also provide for him. Because and I think that a lot of people who are not together, we confuse that. We say, you know, well, he was with me over Christmas vacation, so why am I sending you child support? And it's just like, because he's with me for 9 months out of the year, like, you know. So and the decisions that I'm making are based on the fact that the child is with me. So it's not just about the child. It is about the child, but it's not about where the child is physically located in terms of when the money should exchange. It is about the proper care of the child. And I have not been financially there for my son, and I want to build that muscle back up. And so I want to maintain the integrity of sending what I intend to send, but also working through what it would look like to have my son in my home and care for him here fully as well. But again, I might be complicating it. That might just be a little bit of, you know, pride in there too, where I just, you know, it's embarrassing that I haven't been able to do for him, and so I want to do this and that. Like, that could be in there too. I'm not saying that that's not in there, but that's just to answer that question for why I won't ask. Now, if I send it and his dad sends it back, I'm not going to be like, no, you're going to keep it. No, that's different, because I did my part. But if his dad sends it back with him, or, you know, his dad gives it, like, all of that is between him and his dad, or his father and me. But yeah, I just want to explain that, so that, because that question got out there, and I didn't miss it, but I didn't want to enter, because if I would have started talking about it when you asked it, I would have went into an emotional. I would have went into it, would have gotten emotional, and then my blind spot would have came up, and then I wouldn't have been able to see the rest of the thing. So that's why I was like, let me get through my budget and then come back and answer that question. Somebody asked, and I think I answered this, do I have a list of my expenses and the dates that they're due, and when does that come into the calculation? It comes in at the allocated spending, and I'm trying to do a more thorough job of doing that. I think that in the few budgets before, I didn't do it because Dave Ramsey doesn't tell us to do that. And so I really like following people's plans the way that they are set up before I tweak it. And even with cooking, it's like, if you don't know how to cook something, follow the recipe the first time, so that way you can see what the result you're supposed to get. And then once you fully understand the recipe, then you can go back in and add the extra sugar or a little bit of butter because you like butter. But it's just like, it's a recipe for a reason, because 9 times out of 10 when you use this recipe, you're gonna win, versus if I use the recipe, if I don't know how to make a cake and I don't follow the recipe and the cake doesn't come out right, then I don't know where I can go back and fix things. So for right now, I'm like, I'm going to use the specifics of Dave Ramsey's plan, so that when financial errors come up, I can say, oh, this is what you're doing because this is what this form is supposed to do. Whereas like if I was tweaking things and like, oh, I know Dave Ramsey says do that, but I'm just going to do this. When I made a mistake, I wouldn't know how to correct my own mistake because I don't have a formula, right? So I use his system as a checks and balance, but I'm just like that across the board with everything. Like if I'm ever learning something, I do not tweak until I fully understand. And me fully understanding is me getting it right 10 times in a row. Like if I get it right 7 times and then I get it wrong, something I don't understand, so I got to go back. So it's just like, so that's why, because there was never an instruction to do that from Dave Ramsey's plan, I never did that. I do understand that it's important because I was leaving things out. So it is something that I write, but it's does that make sense? It's like, this is something that I'm adding, but I'm still explicitly using his plan and his forms. So that's to answer that question. If you guys have any other questions too, make sure you pop those in. Do you use the envelope method? So at this time, I hadn't used the envelope method, and the only reason why I wasn't using the envelope method is because my income was so low that like by the time my regular expenses came out, I didn't have any cash to put in envelopes. But I do want to start using the envelope system, and I want to start using the envelope system this month, and it's for 2 reasons. One, because my debit card really was skimmed, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this stuff happens on TV. I can't believe this happened. I can't tell if it's like a shadow or something on my face. And so it just reminded me of the value of using cash. I mean, obviously people can pickpocket you, but it's totally different when like electronically people are just taking money out of your account. It's kind of intense. So that sort of prompted me, but I wanted to transition into my envelope systems for March anyway, because in February, what happened is my clothing budget, I think it's like $9.18. I did not want to go spend $9.18, so I just took the cash out and set it to the side. But I'm like, oh, you should, if you had an envelope, you would put this in an envelope. So those are the 2 things. I was actually beginning to have enough income to where it would be valuable for me to take cash out. So for example, for this month, my envelopes that I'm going to use are going to be, I'm going to do an envelope for my grocery budget. So the $101.18, I'm going to take that out and I'm going to put that in an envelope. I'm going to do an envelope for my clothing, and I'm going to do an envelope for my toiletries, and I'm going to do an envelope for my cosmetics. And that's it. So toiletries, cosmetics, clothing, and groceries. So I'll have 4 envelopes. I'll do a video too, since it'll be my first time doing envelopes. But yep, I have 4 envelopes. Let's see if there's any other questions. Also, okay. Tina said, thank you for your honesty and transparency. It's motivating and inspiring. God bless you and enjoy. Thank you, Tina. Thank you for that moment that we had over the internet. where you just cracked open my little heart. Nancy said, I love this. Katrina said, I think that's awesome and honest, proving on both ends, even if it's hard, sacrifice. Yes, even if it's hard. Tina, I can understand that, and you're right. It is your reasoning. Yeah. Miso says that makes sense. Okay, so you guys must be talking about it with respect to the child support thing. How often do you look at your budget? Tammy said, how often do I look at my budget? Let me see. I would say I know I look at my budget every week, just in general, just a quick glance, just to make sure I'm all right. But I think every time I get ready to use my card, I look at my budget. So in the month of February, I'm gonna add up how many transactions I actually had, and I would say that that's exactly how many times I looked at my budget. So like, one of my goals for last month in February was to make sure I became current on my rent. And so I wound up sending 4 different rent payments. I sent my first rent payment of just the regular $525 that I pay, and then I made 3 partial payments that equaled up to $525. But every time I did that, like I was like in those numbers, like, okay, we gotta make sure this is, like I was really, really in those. So that's like at least 4 times that I looked at my budget. And then, I always look at it before I spend in whatever category I'm gonna spend in, essentially, I look at my budget. And that just gives me some comfort. And when I say I look at my budget, I don't look necessarily at the quick start or the cash flow. I look at the allocated spending and I say, okay, this pay period, these are the things that are supposed to be able to come out. So if those things can't come out or don't come out, or things get weird, I'm like, I did something wrong. And like the other thing that made me have to look at my budget a lot last month is because I got a lot of gifts. I got a lot of unexpected money last month. So I had to look at it a lot because I was like, what am I going to do with all this money? And it's so funny because I kept saying, what am I going to do with all this money? I have so much money. And it is a lot of money relative to the amount that I have, but it's not a lot relative to the amount that I need. So it's very interesting how I was like a little bit overwhelmed. As I mentioned, Donna sent me $100 and I'm like, what am I going to do with this $100? Like, why? Like I was grateful, right? But like after I was grateful, like I had a moment of like, I wasn't planning on this $100, So, but that's why doing the budget every month really, really helps. So I hope that answers your question. Miso said, I did the envelope system for a while. I really liked it. Yeah, I did it the first time. I liked it too, but I'm gonna be honest. I probably didn't do it right because I was really dealing with that hiding, secrecy, lying thing with my money. Katrina said, I've been there, not able to do the emergency fund. I was determined starting off with $5 in each level out. Sometimes it's still hard, but I categorize them in importance on which to fill first. Yeah, the envelope system can get confusing if the written budget part, it's almost like if you haven't really figured that out, your envelope systems, because a part of the and that's the thing, everything has a purpose, right? And I think that and I love Dr. Miles Monroe's quote. He says, when the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is inevitable. And so a lot of people don't like the envelope system, or they don't think that it's effective, but it's because they don't understand the purpose. The purpose of the envelope system is to make you handle cash again so that you can feel money, so that you can feel where your money is going. And so I'm always talking about how money is emotional, but it's just like, if you only have $100 to spend on groceries, you're not gonna go to you're less likely to go to Taco Bell and spend $16 of your $100 when you see the $16 being subtracted from your $100, versus if you go with your debit card, you're way more likely to be okay with that. And the same thing with clothing, like you're way less likely, if you see that this is a $347 bag, you're less likely to count out $347 in cash to pay for a bag than you are to take out that good old credit card or debit card and just be like, let's swipe. So the purpose of the envelope system is to reground us with the experience of money, so that we're actually understanding that like we really are spending it, but also to make us feel it so that we emotionally check that emotional spending. So it's really a thing designed to support you in not overspending. Like that's a part of its purpose. But if you don't understand that, people just put money in the envelope and they're like, whatever, you know, I have this money to spend, and they misunderstand the purpose, so then they wind up abusing it, and they're like, there's no point in taking out cash if I'm just going to do what I did anyway. And it's just like, you're right. That's why you got to do these other forms, because they're here. And it's the same thing, like the quick start budget per form is a purpose. The cash flow is a purpose. The allocated spending, there's a purpose. The irregular spending is a purpose. And what I did last month and in the previous month with my irregular spending is that I was just using it, like listing it almost like it was a to-do list. I wasn't actually using the irregular spending form properly. So it's just important that, you know, you understand the purpose of things. Katrina, I love the envelopes. Tammy, do you carry like a traveler's notebook or something other than a small notebook in your purse or on your track expenses, other things? Yes, I carry this with me everywhere. This is a Moleskine journal. And I don't, so let me see if I can find a page where I've like written down some numbers. Again, based on the intentions that I had last month, I was like not about that life of spending anything like extra. I was like, this ain't in the budget. Some days I just went ahead and left my debit card at home because I was like, I cannot emotionally afford to not be current on my rent anymore. Like I'm so over it. So let me see. Where's some? I'm trying to see. It's literally like it's not organized. So like here's a page where let me see. Here's a page where I just like wrote down some numbers. But it was just like, okay, Stacey, you got your paycheck, you pulled that money from savings, you got this unexpected $327.20 from YouTube, you got this $100 from Donna. Like I had to like write it down so that I could see, to understand that I was spending differently. And then when I did my insurance stuff, like I wrote down like my monthly premium, but you can see it's not organized. It's like smashed between other words. So I don't write it down in a like check off sort of a sense, but I write it down in like, oh, this is unexpected, let me put it in here. And then when I come home, maybe at night or maybe in the morning, if I know I'm planning on spending that day, then I actually come back to these forms and I literally, so if you look at your monthly cash flow form, it has a line where it says budgeted and then it has a line where it says spent. And so typically what I would do is come back and then write what I spent in that. And I'm actually going to start doing that on camera for you guys in the mid-month check, so that way you guys can see sort of how I track my expenses, because that's essentially how I track them. Virginia said, hi Stacey. Hi Virginia. Tammy said, I love your videos. Thank you. Shireen said, do you feel like this budgeting system is truly changing your debt amounts and controlling what you spend? I started last month and it feels like it's changing already. Yes. I have 3 videos coming for you guys. This is so funny that you said that, Shireen. I have 4 videos coming for you guys because I wanted to give you guys a detailed breakdown of my debt snowball. And one video is going to be about a debt that was canceled. Another video is going to be about a debt that was forgiven. And another video is going to be about a debt that I just made up. I made up because of pride. I made up because of so many things. But those 3 debts, just because every single month I'm doing these budgets, it's changing the psychology and the emotion that I have around money. It's making me feel more confident. It's making me feel more competent. And in that confidence and in that competence, I am being more honest and transparent with my debts and with the people that I owe, and I'm having those hard conversations. So, you know, when I talk about the debt that's forgiven, I'll talk about the hard conversation that happened there. When I talk about the debt that's canceled, I'll talk about the realization. But I don't think that that debt would have been forgiven or the debt would have been canceled in the way that it was canceled. And the debt that I made up that I just had to release myself from, I don't think that I would have been able to do that had I not sat down for the last 5 months to do these budgets. So from a psychological perspective, abso-freaking-lutely, this is changing my life. But from an actual dollars and cents perspective, I cannot believe how much debt is falling off. And again, it, some may argue, oh, it's not falling off because you did the budget. Whereas I would argue is, had I not done the budget, I would not have had the confidence or the competence to go into a conversation or to even attempt to initiate a conversation to begin figuring out how I was going to pay this stuff back. So absolutely it's doing that. Some of you guys know I had a dog, and not having my dog has been tough, but it wasn't until I did the budget where I'm like, Stacey, you're spending the same amount on your dog as you're spending on your son. There's a problem here, and you got to face that. You got to face the fact that you're spending the same amount on a dog as you are your child. You cannot afford this, I was really, really pissy about having a roommate. Like, my roommate is amazing. Like, if I was her, I would be upset that I was her roommate. Like, she's amazing. Like, let her never write a memoir about her experience living with me, because it would not be good. But like, I'm not a good roommate, and I think I wasn't a good roommate because I don't want a roommate. I want to be grown, and I don't want to have to live with anyone. And I was like fussing and fighting against that. And it wasn't until I did this budget that I was like, you need to make peace with this, because you are going to have a roommate, because you cannot afford to do this on your own. So my long answer is absolutely, it has given me such accountability. I told you guys I'm documenting this because I knew my issue with hiding. I definitely thought I meant something else when I said that. But this serves as accountability, because I'm able to go back and be like, Stacey, this is what you said, but this is what you did. Stacey, this is what you were talking about, but this is how that played. Like, I'm able to go back and see all that, and just making peace with the fact that you're going to have a roommate for a minute, which means you need to become a better roommate. You're not going to have a dog because you can't afford one, and you need to figure that out. You need to get medical insurance, because you go to therapy once a week and you pay $70 once a week, and that $280 that you're spending once a week, you could be spending that towards your insurance premium. And then that way, not only can you go to therapy, but you can go get your hoo-ha checked out from the gynecologist, because you're grown up, and that's what grown-ups do. Like, it's like, not doing the budget allowed me to have all this wishful, magical thinking about this magical way that things were magically going to work out. And there ain't no magic. There's just me, and me being willing to do this. And when I say just me, I mean me and the community of people that I built around, and people really supporting me. And I realized that, like, I was never going to be honest with myself, because there was no one in my circle, friends or family, who I was ever going to let hold me accountable. I was never going to let them look at me and say, oh, you're doing this wrong. Didn't matter if they were right. I had too much of an emotional, psychological barrier to be able to hear anything that they had to say. So I literally had to look myself in the face and say, all right, since you're the only person that you trust, let's make this happen. And so yeah, it's already, I mean, the fact that I started this out, and my first income that I did a budget with was because I participated in a study and got a lump sum. Then I got a job. Then I was making $800 a month. Now I'm making $1,000 a month. And I'm sitting over here with a full grocery budget, paying for my son to come and visit. Went from paying $25 in child support to $75 in child support. I am current on my rent. Like, that only happened because I'm doing a budget, because I don't know any place where $800 or $1,000 can do all of the stuff that it's been happening. But that's what happens when you do a budget. So super long answer, but yes. Sorry, get a little emotional there. Katrina said, repeat that quote, please. I'm also taking notes. Oh, no, I don't know what the quote was. Oh, the quote from Dr. Miles Monroe. When you don't know the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. And we typically abuse the things that we don't know their purpose. Yeah. Miso said, I'm new to your page and videos. You may have answered this already, but is there a reason why you do the budget by hand instead of electronic? I do the budget by hand just because I prefer pen and paper, but one of the things that I learned in my last mid-budget check-in was that again, those financial blind spots, like sometimes I just don't write down the right number. And I was like, oh, is this a little bit of dyslexia? And I'm like, no, it's not dyslexia. I think it's just that financial blind spot at play, and I don't want to see the truth. And so sometimes I'll write down a different number. And so I did download the Every Dollar app, not on my phone. I'm not doing it on my phone. But I'm doing it on the computer just as another tracking form. But in general, I prefer pen and paper. Like my calendar is pen and paper. I journal like 2-3 times a day. Like I'm a pen and paper person. So it's just a personal preference. I like, and for me, I feel like my financial issue is the emotion. So once you figure out what your financial issue is, like what is your, like what's in your financial blueprint that you need to like dig out and root out, I would recommend using systems that support that. So if I didn't have an emotional problem, then I think an app would work. But the reason why an app isn't going to work for me emotionally, because all those pretty colors and all that like easy this and easy that is going to make me feel a little bit too good about the lies that I'm telling myself with respect to what I'm doing with my money. Because it's going to be pretty and it's going to be super fun, and I'm going to be like, boop, 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 look at me, boop, boop, boop. Like, and I'm just never going to learn. So, but I know that about myself, right? Like, and I know for me, once I write something down, it's so official. Like, it's so official. Like, even I had did a video once about, how I felt about creating so much student loan debt. And I was just like, at the time, my signature was worth like over $150,000. That's amazing to me. Somebody believed that, like, that's what carries me and moves me forward. And this whole thing is that, like, when I didn't have any money and I was just earning a degree, my signature was worth 150,000. Imagine how much my signature will be worth once I pay all this off. So writing things is just a very powerful practice for me in general. So that's why it's pen and paper. Katrina, is your mid-month check-in live? No, it's not live. It's pre-recorded. I think this will be the only one that I do live. I don't know, maybe I'll do, I don't know. I can't make any promises. I do like the live because I like the interaction. Tina said the numbers are humbling. Yeah, they're very humbling. They're humbling, but there's something else about them too, where it's like telling your money where to go is powerful. How I'm able to do this with $800 to $1,000, I don't know. I have no idea. But the fact that this was available to me for years, and for years I made way over $800 to $1,000 a month. So yeah, the numbers are humbling, but there's also something very, I don't know what the other word is, that's like, whoa. Shireen said, thank you for that amazing response. This is I don't know, truly lit. Is that what you're trying to say there? I don't know. Oh, truly motivating. Truly motivated. It's funny because I was like, is that true lit? Are you trying to say this is lit? Katrina says, that was me. Nobody could tell me how to spend what was mine. Newsflash, my baby. You don't have anything to spend. Right. Like, nobody could tell me anything. I was doing better financially than everybody that I knew. So I definitely was not about to listen to anyone. And it was amazing being in Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University program. I think it's 9 weeks. What was amazing about that is, you're in a room with strangers, and I realized that I allowed the pushback from strangers more than I did family and friends. But also, when I went through that experience, it was hard even after a while, once I saw their financial mistakes, for me to even listen to them. I was like, oh, well, you're worse off than me. So it's like the blind leading the blind right now. And you ain't helping me, but I do think that there's value in creating that community. And I think that for me, like, again, once I just was able to acknowledge, like, Stacey, these are your deficiencies. Like, you need something to fill in these gaps. And I know I learned through talking out loud, which is one of the reasons I thrived in the Financial Peace University 6 weeks program, because I got to talk to people. Two, I need to write things down. And three, doing things in real time produce that learning aha experience. I'm like, oh, this live thing might work out. I mean, before I did this on YouTube, I did it on Instagram. And I was just like, oh, I got to stop doing this on Instagram because I don't know how to save it. And this is too good to lose, because I want to be able to come back, 3-4 years from now and be like, what? Because it's always unbelievable. Like the story is always unbelievable, right? By the time I pay this off, people are gonna be like, yeah, you could do it, but I can't because of blah blah blah. And I'm gonna be like, go back and watch that video from October 2017, you know? So yeah. Miso said, that's the app I was wondering about. I tried every dollar, but I like pen and paper better. Yeah. I didn't really understand the purpose for the app. I understood like why he created it, but I didn't understand the purpose. It wasn't something that I could make useful for me. But now I'm using the app as a checks and balance system, and so it works for me now. But this is my primary budgeting method, and you guys will see in February's budget report card how I use the app. Dama Jewel said, laugh out loud. And then Virginia, love the live, Stacey. And then Felina said, when I started my financial journey, I made the same, but I did it in silence. There's something so powerful about sharing your growth. Yeah. Brene Brown says that shame can only live in silence. And I do not want to be creating an environment for shame to exist. And I think that there is so much shame around money, whether it is how much you earn, how much you spend, what you spend it on. Like, probably very few people would come online and say that they're paying child support, then to share the amount that they're paying, and then to be female and paying. Very few people will say that, and there's just too much shame around child support and what it actually is that people just don't even do it. And some people don't pay child support because they're not being awesome, right? But some people don't pay child support because of the shame that's attached to it. And so, me being just honest, like my son doesn't live with me full time. That is a responsibility that I have. And it's not an obligation. It's a responsibility, or even shame about earning, right? Like me proudly saying I earn $800 to $1,000. That is amazing. Not necessarily relative to my education and my age, but it's amazing relative to what I was earning last year. And we got to kind of have a little bit of pride about those things. But in America, at least, there's a culture of like, you don't tell people how much you make. Your neighbor shouldn't know how much you make. Like your friend shouldn't know. And it's just like, well, what's going to happen if she knows? And our fear, I think, is that if people know how much we make, people are going to take our money. But they can't take your money unless you give it to them. And the irony is that when you're silent about how much money you make and you have all this shame, you just give your money away to people all the time. So yeah. AF Demmer said, are you planning to do a passive income video? Maybe. I'm not a financial planner. I think if I do a passive income, or if I do a video about the types of incomes that I talked about in my last video, it will be a video that is meant to be inspirational, as opposed to educational. Because again, I told you guys that I just learned these and I'm yet trying to incorporate them in my life. So I don't consider myself to be a master enough to teach it, but I would love to just inspire you all to dig deeper into it, direct you towards material, and sort of explain to you how I intend on explaining it to my children and future children. I would definitely do that, but it would be a very inspirational video, not educational, because I'm not a financial planner, and some of those things get into a little bit of financial planning, which I would like to be a lot further in my financial competence before I'm providing people with financial advice. I hope that answers your question. Survivor Fan 32 says, sorry I had to step away. How are you feeling? I'm feeling amazing. It's zero. It's zero. And I did my irregular income spending properly. And, there's no wishful thinking in there. It's just me being realistic. And it's interesting too, because I made up the excuse that because I'm an optimist, I don't have to be realistic with my numbers. And it's just like, it's fine for you to be an optimist and, go change the world and, do that. But when it comes to these dollars and cents, you need to be a little bit more of a realist and be willing to put on your realist hat. And so I put on my realist hat, and I'm very happy. I appreciate you joining live because you were able to correct some things or give me some clarity as I was going along. And I'm just really looking forward to this budget. Also, it also feels really good that I have already done the budget before the month has begun. That is critical. And Dave Ramsey says that all the time, and it sounds like it's like, what difference does it make? The difference it makes is that you won't be emotional about it. It's the difference of when you know you have money coming and you tell the money where to go versus when the money is in your pocket and you spend it emotionally. So yeah, I feel really good. AF Demir says, love from Turkey. Hey, Turkey. So we have Turkey, we have Costa Rica, we have the UK, we have London, we have New Orleans, we have Texas, we have New York. Thank you guys for being here. We just have this great global, like, budgeting community. This is so awesome, so cool. Andrea said, I agree that I've attached shame to money and don't want to be judged, so I stay silent. Yeah, we don't want to be judged, but it's just like, in that shame, it's like how, what is it, people say, when you build a wall around your heart to keep love, or to keep hate, or to keep pain out, when you build a wall around your heart to keep pain out, you also prevent love from coming in. That's kind of how it works with shame. So if you build a wall around your finances that says, I'm not going to talk about my money because I'm so ashamed, you also prevent yourself from getting the commentary or the feedback from like people like Survivor Fan 32. Like, I mean, he lit me up. He was just like, you need some tough love. And and I was like, all right, bring it on. But, and I appreciated the tone in which he approached me, because he wasn't like disrespectful, but he was firm and like, ma'am, you are out here on in this internet in total error. Stop that, and it's just like, but if I would have been sitting behind my shame wall says, well, I'm not talking about my money, so you don't get to tell me anything about my money, so it's like that wall, these walls that we build up, it's like they serve a purpose, right? They're protecting us from these feelings that we don't want to have, but they're also blocking the blessings that would otherwise get in and serve us, because I don't know where I would be in this financial journey if it wasn't for this community. You guys have been amazing. Survivor Fan, I'll watch the full video later, but I have to ask, are you able to set aside the full April rent in the month of March? Yes, I am. Yep. Elika, Rake, Brandon, you've got Germany. Yay! Germany's on here too. This is who in the world? Like, this is so exciting. Like, my dream as a little girl was to just be like this little international person. I used to get the National Geographics, and I just wanted to travel around the entire world. And I know that I'm just like in my own kitchen right now, but like the fact that I'm communicating with someone from another part of the world means that it's possible, means that I'm so close. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So Survivor Fan 32, you're a Canadian fan. Yes, he is from Canada. So Canada is here too. I am going to do a whole entire post about all of the countries that joined me. You guys are so awesome. And I know that we're not even, for some of the countries, we're not even dealing with the same currency. So it's amazing that you guys still are able to find value, even though you have to do all the conversions and stuff like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have a Canadian fan in me forever. I'm so happy for you. April rent saved. This is absolutely phenomenal. Yes, that's the objective, was to get current. And with your help, you helped me to get current. So yeah. Katrina said, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you guys too. I deeply appreciate you all for supporting this journey. Like, you have no idea. I can't wait to keep you posted on how the March budget goes. I'm moving into this month knowing that my son is going to be near, but also having tracked my expenses for the last few months, I know that around emotions, I get really weird, and I get, my blinders go up, and I'm just like, blah, 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 spend. But I'm feeling very confident about where we allocated this money, and I'm feeling very confident that we're going to get through the month of March, and we're going to keep winning, and April's going to be here, and it's just going to keep being amazing. Mako said, saying hi from Croatia. How are you guys finding? What in the world? Is there like some international like hand signal that I sent out? I don't even know. Like, that's amazing. Thank you for coming from like. What in the world? By the way, when you have your next filet mignon with asparagus mashed, have it with a bottle of Robert Mondavi Napa Valley Cabernet. You watch my video. Yes, that is how I celebrate. That is how I'm going to celebrate every 10K that I pay off. Yes, I will have it with the Robert Mondavi Napa Valley Cabernet. Per your suggestion. You've been so helpful that I will take your suggestion on my filet mignon with mashed potatoes. horseradish mashed potatoes. Virginia says, yay from the round the world friends. Yes, yay, yay, yay. Thank you guys so much. We are now over 2 hours, so I'm going to let you guys go. Make sure you watch the playback. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them. You guys know that I respond to every single thing that I can in the comments. And if I get them frequently, I pop up a video so that way you guys can always have them to reference. I am so grateful for you all, and I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate your support. So I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Bye.